Last time, we left Fenny Stratford, cruised until it got dark, and moored up for the night somewhere else in Milton Keynes.
New snow and ice warnings for the south. Met Office issues more yellow alerts covering vast swathes of Britain.
Today it's another early start. Once the days get shorter, every minute counts when we want to get a decent number of hours cruising in before it gets dark. We're continuing north on the Grand Union Canal towards Braunston. Helpfully, that's the destination on all of the mile markers, so we know exactly how many miles we need to do.
It's a beautiful frosty morning. I think our first proper frost, and we're on the move. We're not sure where we're going to go or how far yet. We're going to see if there's one mooring that we were interested in a bit further up. That's a really pretty park mooring. If that's free, we might try that, or if not, it's on to Wolverton maybe, and we'll see how we get on. But it's a very gorgeous winter day. We haven't really had a cruise like this since, I guess, last year. I don't remember it being this pretty last year, actually. So it feels very nice to be out. Why not join us?
We want to get to Braunston for Christmas, and more specifically, in time for Braunston Bakes, the iconic pop-up bakery event that I'm obsessed with. Doing these 34 miles would not normally be a problem over a few days. The only potential problem is the news was suddenly full of articles predicting an incoming weather situation. A big freeze was coming, and the predictions were full of alarming words like temperatures plummeting and Arctic blast. We're talking live blog level. So all of this was giving a strong "this canal is gonna freeze" kind of energy. Now, we've been frozen in before, it's not the end of the world, but it can happen quite quickly and there's no way of knowing how long it will last. It's always better to be over-prepared rather than get stuck for days with no water and a full toilet tank. So as we set off today, what we're trying to do is get some miles behind us to get nearer to Braunston, while also getting prepared to potentially get stuck in the ice somewhere on the way for an indefinite period of time. Andrew was convinced the freeze would come within 24 hours, but I was a bit more cavalier. I thought we had more time.
First ice.
As we cruised through the first patches of ice, it was looking like you might be right.
Why would you say this winter is different from last winter?
Last winter it was 2022, and this winter it's 2023, so it's another year later.
Would you like to give us a tip about winter living on a narrowboat?
Make sure you have someone who's professional at lighting a fire and keeping it going, available at all times.
Yeah, that's important.
Last winter we didn't have one of those.
Had a right amateur last year.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were doing last time. But now we've got a professional moved in.
Much warmer.
If my last vlog about Milton Keynes was unflattering, verging on the slanderous, I hope you'll take this as proof that it wasn't at all representative of what all of Milton Keynes is like. The canal goes through some really lovely areas. There are tons of nice places to moor. I think it's actually really underrated by boaters. It's full of parks and green spaces. This is Great Linford Manor Park. The manor is privately owned, but the park is open to the public. And there are a couple of 48-hour visitor moorings, which are almost ridiculously picturesque and harder to get into than a members club. Here they are, the Soho House of Grand Union Canal moorings, and alas, they're taken, so on we go.
I mean, look at this mooring though. There's like a lake on one side of you. There's that literal castle or something.
We've got some more here when it's available sometime. It's stunning.
And I think that's maybe the house.
Oh, look at it.
They make you send in a picture of your boat to be allowed to be put on the waiting list.
Wow.
We hit some more patches of ice, which were still quite thin, so it broke easily as we came through it. But a few more days of temperatures below freezing, and this could solidify into something a lot more impenetrable. In this area, there aren't that many boats on the move in winter. On this day, we were actually the only boat we saw moving, so it can take longer for patches of ice to get broken up as well.
What's happened here? This is very not the vibe.
I mean, it's definitely some local shit, isn't it? You won't see this often, lads. Look, leaves on the ice.
Leaves on the ice.
There is content that you don't usually see.
It's like snow on the beach.
We cruise through the freezing cold tundras to bring you this.
So you don't have to.
After a couple of hours, we got to
Wolverton,
which is a very useful place to stop for a big shop. There was space to moor, so we pulled in, went to the shop and grabbed some food.
We're leaving Wolverton. We stopped here for a whistle-stop Tesco tour. Now we're carrying on.
So in the fast-paced world of boating, what we've noticed is as we were moving forward, there was quite a lot of ice, and obviously the forecast, I say obviously, to us we've seen the weather app and the forecast is that it's going to start freezing. So it looks like we're going to need to bunker down. So now we've changed our plans a little bit, adjusted. We're going to go just on that giant shop.
We're going with the flow.
Yes, we're going to get some water. We're going to maybe do a pump out if we can, and then we're going to expect that we might get stuck for like a week or something like that, just frozen in. We'll be ready for it if it comes.
Leaving the nice, what's it called? Wolverton, where we last were the only people here. Now there's loads of boats and it looks like perfectly fine in a hot spot. When we were here there was no one here, so we were like, why is no one stopping at this really good mooring? But I think it must have just been one of those weird things. Yeah, so now find some water. Run out of room in the fridge, so the soup is now out here, because actually out here is the exact same temperature as the fridge.
Between Wolverton and Cosgrove, there's this fun little aqueduct. Aqueducts are a novelty every single time. You immediately feel like you're on a ride in a theme park somehow. It's just fun. If you're tired of aqueducts, you're tired of life.
Wow, the wind actually catches you as well. Oh, that was it's a bit...
Yeah, I think concentrate on the driving.
That was a bit hairy.
Concentrate on the driving, let's not go over the edge. Presumably that ledge should stop us, but let's not test
I mean, let's not knock into it and just see.
it.
This is literally the Tom Cruise of squirrels. He does all his own stunts.
All his own stunts. It's a very thin branch as well. Like he's not being sensible. I've never seen a squirrel that high in my life. That's how high he is. A daredevil. A mad lad. Off he goes.
So Kris was saying that people kind of moor here when they feel unsafe going down to Milton Keynes, and they sort of whiz through. But I don't know what's worrying about it. We only saw one murder.
Oh, potential.
Yeah, and one set of one car on fire is nothing.
There's nothing to be scared of.
Go down there.
Visit Milton Keynes. Look how busy it is though. It goes all the way along. This whole stretch is the busiest. This exact sign from a marine engineer is on so many trees on this route, and I'm not sure I approve of nailing a sign into quite this number of trees. 1 or 2 might have been fine, but like it's constant. Shame on you, Mark.
The adverts. It's like Times Square. It's like Tokyo. It's like London. It's like standing there like the adverts. I can't do it.
We stopped for water. We're always stopping for water, but since we're getting ready for a potential frozen in situation, it was even more of an essential.
Bloody hell, it's cold.
So cute.
Just after the lock, there was a mooring spot wide open, so we thought, perfect, this is ideal. Near the facilities, amazing view, cafe and a little shop nearby, pub in the village. This is the perfect spot to get frozen in. Brilliant. Once we were all moored up, it was still only 4 p.m, so we went for a walk to have a look around. This is our first time staying in Cosgrove. Last time we cruised through here without stopping because we didn't have time. And I was like, wait, where are we? It's so pretty, we have to stop here next time. And here we are. To the side of the lock that we just went through, there's an arm off the main line of the Grand Union. Opened in 1800, it originally went to Buckingham and was appropriately called the Buckingham Canal. With the competition from the railways and issues with water supply, it fell into decline over the years and it became completely silted up, stopped being navigable and was fully abandoned in 1964. And that was that, until the Buckingham Canal Society was formed in the 90s, and they've been working on restoring the arm and making it navigable once more.
This is a bug resort. This is like, you know, when you go to those places in the Maldives,
Yeah.
and it's like different islands. That's what this bug hotel is. Wow. And I think this is a little anti-GDPR,
Yeah.
disclosing who's checked into the hotel.
It's a who's who, isn't it? Celebrities.
All the big names.
That evening, we kept popping our heads out to see if the canal had frozen, and by 11 p.m, it finally happened. Everything was still and bloody cold, so it was time to go to bed. By morning, the ice was pretty well established around us. I woke up to a boat crunching through it, and I couldn't figure out what the noise was at first. Despite the now far more experienced fire angler we have on board, it's me. I'm the fire starter. Overnight, the temperatures had dropped and it was a quite chilly 11 degrees. Nowhere near as bad as it used to get on our first winter on board, but still. We are in a metal tube submerged in ice water, so it's to be expected. Once I got the fire going again, the coziness level improved significantly. If you're worried about Matilda, by the way, she's got her wool cave and a special self-heating mat she can always retire to, plus obviously she's got a permanent fur coat, so she's absolutely fine. After a lovely quiet morning with my tea and my morning pages, I finally sat down to my laptop, and that was when I realised the one tiny, quite large problem with this otherwise perfect mooring. The internet was appalling. Not quite non-existent, but not far off. We usually do a speed test when we get somewhere because it's quite crucial for us to have an internet connection to be able to work. But with all the cold weather admin, we were thinking of all these other logistics and we didn't think about this one. It's too good to be true, isn't it? You can't have this good of a view and a strong 5G connection, because everyone would be here. Anyway, the ice situation didn't seem that bad. It didn't look like we'd get stuck here for too long, so we decided to stay put, enjoy the spot, and make it work. Make it work basically means use the internet for essentials only. So work, but not streaming stuff or scrolling through Instagram. Heading into the village from the canal side, you go through this amazing horseshoe-shaped tunnel.
That is exactly the kind of shape for a horse.
Which is actually another aqueduct. The canal is above us here.
Never been in a horse tunnel before.
Before the canal was constructed, this was the main access road to the village, so the aqueduct was built to take the canal over the top.
Oh, this is cool. You can kind of cosplay being a narrowboat in a tunnel.
Yeah.
Working horses from the canal could be led down and through the tunnel to the blacksmith's yard and the stables, which were behind the Barley Mow pub. So the horseshoe shape is very appropriate as well as cool.
We can't do how much of this in London anymore. We're done with that joke.
The bit is done. It's been retired.
By the next morning, a lot of the ice around us had melted, and the crisp, frost-covered landscape turned into something altogether more damp and misty. It was still just as cold, so we were in no rush to go anywhere yet.
I'm not giving you a bagel, so...
Don't mention we've got bagels in here.
If you smelt them, we were tasting them earlier. You guys are real cute.
Sir, step back, sir.
I was getting my first coffee in the morning when I heard the sounds of a fuel boat. They all use these historic old boats with proper traditional engines. It's unmistakable. So I hopped outside, still in my PJs, and got a couple of bags of coal to keep us going. The fuel boats are an incredible service. We always try to buy from them when we can. They do all types of fuel for the stoves, as well as diesel and gas for cooking. It's amazing. We had a sachet of cottage pie seasoning mix knocking about in the cupboard, so I thought I'd really lean into my wholesome day and make that. They take your internet away for like 5 minutes and you're making pies just to feel something. It's cottage pie core. In the end, we ended up spending 5 days in the beautiful internet black spot that is Cosgrove above the lock, which then left us with a mad dash to make for Braunston. The baked goods will wait for no man, woman or narrowboat, and I was not missing out. We've only got 27 miles to go. Should be a breeze. See you next time. Thank you for watching.